Today, I'm sharing 6 non-fiction books that will make you addicted to reading. Whether you're new to reading, in a reading slump, or a seasoned reader, these 6 non-fiction books will have you coming back for more. I read over 800 books in my adult life, half of those being non-fiction. And if I was starting my non-fiction reading journey, these 6 would be at the top of my list. G'day, my name's Tim. I'm a writer, I'm a reader, and I'm a bookseller. Welcome if you're new here, welcome back if you are returning. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the 6 non-fiction books that I have selected to share with you today. These are a mix of a narrative non-fiction and memoir, and I've chosen them very carefully based off 2 factors. The first factor is they all share the theme of incredible storytelling. And the second factor, these are the books that I recommend the most. And I simply cannot wait to share these with you. So sit back, grab yourself a cuppa, and let's get stuck on in. First up, we have The Tiger by John Valiant, a true story on vengeance and survival. It's December of 1997, and in a village on the far northeast of Russia, a man-eating tiger is on the prowl. The tiger is one of the few remaining Siberian tigers alive. A group of men is set to hunt this tiger down, and it soon becomes incredibly clear that this tiger is on a murderous vendetta of its own. And this story becomes a survival story of whether the man survives or the tiger survives. It's a story about man versus tiger. It's a story of what happens when humans encroach on the wildness and compete for the same wild areas for development and change and environmental wilderness. And the tiger reads like you are consuming a work of fiction. You are engrossed in the story, in the details, in the description of the landscape and the place. It was so vivid, it was so rich. It almost felt like you were in the jaws of a tiger getting thrown around through this story and ragdolled while also having these beautiful moments of peace and quiet and this almost epiphany of change. It's almost like reading an incredibly paced documentary. It gives you the history, it gives you the backstory. It is incredibly well researched, and it is gripping from start to finish. I've read 3 John Valiant novels, and every single time I finish a John Valiant novel, there is this great sense of loss, and it almost feels like we're losing the remaining tigers. Gripping, addictive, and will have you coming back for more. Anyway, that's The Tiger by John Valiant. This next book is one of the most shocking reads I've ever read. I read it in an afternoon, start to finish, could not put it down. A fascinating character, a shocking story, and an absolute insane discovery. We've got The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. The Art Thief follows the story of the most prolific art thief of all time, Stefan Brettweister. He stole over $2 billion worth of goods from art museums around Europe, all in the middle of the day. He never sold it and displayed all of it in his attic. His girlfriend, his only accomplice. He felt like a king until it all came to a shocking end. The Art Thief feels like a murder mystery with the suspense that holds you and captivates you and doesn't release you. You just get tenser and tenser and tenser as these thefts go along, as this story continues, as this accumulates through time. It's incredible writing and incredible storytelling. And yes, The Art Thief is about heists, but it's about so much more. An eventual capture, 2 shocking betrayals, and a conclusion that will blow your mind. It's a story about love and obsession, but it intersects with crime and doing the wrong thing. And it's almost like asking this question of when love and obsession intersect with doing the wrong thing. Is it necessarily the wrong thing if that's what they believe? And that is what I found incredibly alluring about this story. Anyway, that's The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. Next up on this list is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. I almost didn't include this one on this list, and I will tell you why in a moment. But this is the story and the memoir of Phil Knight, who is the creator of the global brand Nike. Now, we all know the Nike story in one way, shape, or form, but this is the early days of Nike. Phil falling in love with running first and foremost in Oregon. And then from there, he decides he's going to buy a one-way ticket and travel the world. And as he is away, he has this idea to start a shoe company. He goes to Japan, he secures the deals, and he starts selling shoes out of his car. It's 1962, and he has this almost disillusion with the world and has this idea for trying something else. And so this story is the progression of Nike through little increment in time. And the story comes to this conclusion at the time where Nike goes public as a company. And the reason that I almost didn't include it on this list is because I probably struggle with the idea of what Nike is ethically today. What I really liked about this memoir is it's got this inclusion of his insecurities and his doubts and his moments of going like, I don't know if this is going to work out. I think that is like really addictive for anyone that's learning something or creating something or trying to build their own thing. It's the story of this brand that goes from being shoes out of the back of someone's car to now being one of the world leading brands on the planet. And this like almost ability to kind of stop and see what it was before that and how that was never the plan. He just wanted to sell shoes and run and enjoy this experience of being alive. It's a story about creativity, perseverance, building something. And at the end of the day, the people that matter the most to you are the people that become your family. Anyway, that's Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. Next up, we have none other than The Wager by David Grann. This is a story of shipwreck, mutiny, and murder. This follows the story of The Wager, 1740, and The Wager is chasing down a Spanish ship during the Spanish War on a secret mission. The Spanish ship is filled with gold. The Wager shipwrecked off the coast of Patagonia, and that's when it all started going wrong. And then in 1742, a group of men arrived on a flimsy craft back in England, surviving the tale. They told one story. Then 6 months later, 3 men arrive on an even flimsier craft, return to England, and they tell a different story. This is a narrative, non-fiction sea yarn of a generation. It is fascinating from start to finish. It is incredible writing. It's researched in such a way that almost doesn't quite feel real. I found it so good that I was mind-boggled by the words, by the sections, by the passages, that I was going back and rereading things that I had just read because I was so fascinated and wanted more detail and more information. The research and the level of understanding that David Grann had to do to write this story is next to none. The details coming together, the worlds coming together, the mutiny, the murder, the shipwreck, the leadership, the death, the shipwreck, put it all together, and it is a story for the ages. And The Wager feels like you are reading a thriller novel, much like The Art Thief, but it is slower and more rich in information, and the pages don't turn quite as quickly, but you feel like they are. The Wager makes me want to sail around South America and see what it's really like, but at the same time, makes me not want to at all. This is incredibly riveting. This is incredibly thrilling, and I'm going to be thinking about it for decades to come. The next one is also about shipwrecks. Marriage at Sea by Sophie Elmhirst is a story of love, obsession, and marriage. Oh, and did I mention shipwreck? This is a story that follows a British couple named Maurice and Marilyn as they sell their house to buy a sailboat to sail the world. Unfortunately, they shipwreck along the process of that, and it takes them 118 days to be saved. And this story follows their time adrift this tiny little boat as they try to survive. It's the emotional damage, but it is then, once they are rescued, the fame and the fallout of all of those things combined. It's a story about survival. It's a story about marriage and love and the psychology of hope. And what I found really powerful about this story is Marilyn is the strong one, and she is the one that holds it together, and she is the powerful one. And I liked the breakdown and almost this analysis of what societal norms, quote unquote, mean and what that looks like in this deep, dark survival situation. I read this year and was addicted start to finish and just had to know where this story was going to take me. And Sophie Elmhurst landed the plane, because we can't use a ship analogy in this one because we've had 2 shipwrecks in a row. So no more shipwrecks. I'm moving on to the final one, which is maybe my favorite on this list. The final book is by no other than Bo Miles. It's called The Backyard Adventurer. And this is a memoir-esque storytelling capsule, I'm going to call it. The byline is meaningful and pointless expeditions, self-experiments, and the values of other people's junk. It tells a bit of Bo's story, but it also has all of these little snippets of him creating his own adventures in the backyard of his own world. Bo is a writer, he is an adventurer, he is a filmmaker and put all of his films on YouTube. And this is kind of a breakdown of some of his films that I think are really valuable. It's almost those micro adventures and the value that we can get out of these adventures that are maybe more meaningful than we actually think. And I've included this because Bo feels like one of those characters that is different and people connect to him for different things and in different ways, but take away the things that he's used in his life to implement into their own. I should also mention that my cousin just sent me this book from Australia after going to one of Bo's events, and he left a really nice inscription in this book here for me. So that was really beautiful as well. And I say all that to say that nonfiction books, and I think the value in nonfiction books is almost in the learning, in the information, while using the things that we already have, our creativity, ourselves, our backyard, as the connection within ourselves. Anyway, that's The Backyard Adventurer by Bo Miles. Anyway, they are my 6 nonfiction books to get you addicted to reading. Let me know in the comments below what books you would add to this list, because I am looking in particular for some more narrative nonfiction, particularly by women authors. So if you have any of those, let me know below. But just let me know below what your favorite narrative nonfiction or just nonfiction books are in general. I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you watching. And let me know in the comments below what video you would like from me next. In the meantime, be kind to yourself, be kind to one another, and I will see you back here in the next one.